So we have the Jurassic Dead. What do you get when you take Jurassic Park, Reanimator, and pretty much no budget to make a movie? You make Jurassic Dead. You know what you're getting into when you see a movie like this by the cover and everything. I kind of thought it was going to be like a Starship Troopers type movie, except with dinosaurs instead of bugs. But wasn't really that at all. And the cover shows it being outside in like the city and stuff. You didn't really have that either. But like I say, you know what kind of movie you're getting into with something like this. You're straight to video, low budget films. You're not going to expect too much. But I actually had a pretty good time with this one. It did what it sought out to do, and that was to entertain me for, I believe the runtime was like 82 minutes, and it was never really boring or anything. So this movie, pretty much, you start out with a guy who has a dead dinosaur in his trunk of his car, and has a fluid that looks like the stuff from Reanimator. It's all like bright green and everything, and brings it back to life. Things happen. It fast forwards to a year later. That same guy is teaching at a school and brings back, I believe he brought back like a cat or something in the classroom, reanimated it, and gets kicked out of the school for doing that, and then decides to set up shop in this bunker or whatever you want to call it, out in like the desert area. And then you have a group of, I think it was 4 kids and a group of 5 commandos, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them, kind of embark on this bunker as well. And there's events that lead up to them getting there, obviously, but at one point they're EMP'd and kind of stranded out there. So they seek refuge in this bunker, or whatever you want to call it, and that's where the mad scientist or what have you is in there and has his dinosaur and everything. There's only one dinosaur in this whole movie, and you don't really see a whole lot of it for being a creature feature. I guess you don't really get to see a whole lot of the creature, and the gas is released throughout this area that they're all in, and things happen to certain individuals on both sides and everything. You have your typical bad acting and bad special effects and everything. The CGI was just like laughable, which I think is what they were going for. They didn't have the budget to do it professionally per se, so they knew it was kind of pretty self-aware. And the main guy of the mercenaries or commandos, whatever you want to call them, I was thinking, man, this guy looks a lot like Duke Nukem from the video games. Big muscular guy with the spiked blonde hair, and always got the cigar in his mouth and combat boots, and just trying to be a real badass and everything. And there was even reference made by the kids who were, one of the couples are like big gamers and stuff, and they make reference to him looking like him and everything. And eventually you have a couple people on the commando side turn into these, I'll say zombies for better lack of words, whatever. They're like reanimated with this gas and everything. One of them is bitten by the dinosaur and turns into more powerful and all of this stuff, and kind of turns on his own guys and on the kids and everything. And that's when all hell pretty much breaks loose, and the guy running the whole thing, the mad scientist or what have you, his whole idea is to release this gas throughout America and let the whole country just kind of destroy itself. And he's kind of pretty much testing it on these 2 groups of people to see what happens and everything. But like I say, you only have like the one dinosaur in it, and I expected it to be a little bit more going on than that, but I mean, I was still pretty entertained. There is a scene where the dinosaur rips one of them apart, and that was pretty cool. I mean, it was pretty gruesome and everything. But overall, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out if you guys are into, you know, low budget movies like this and everything, and just want to be entertained for 80 minutes and not really have to think about what's going on. There's not like some deep kind of plot besides, you know, destroying America for what he feels he was done wrong and stuff in the past and everything. But you know, I think it kind of definitely knows it was imitating, you know, Reanimator and things like that. And yeah, I mean, overall, like I say, definitely check it out if you guys are into these kind of movies. It wasn't, you know, necessarily the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was bad, but in a good sense, you know. So, yeah. As far as the ending of it, I'm not going to tell you what happens. We'll say it was a happy ending, I guess. And there is a I'll say after credit scene. After the movie's over, it kind of shows everybody in like a comic book sense, and then there's like a after scene after that, and then it goes into like the regular credits. So I did like the main I forget everybody's name, but one of the mercenaries who kind of took charge after the leader gets you know, infected. I did like him a lot. I thought he was a pretty good actor, actually. But yeah, you have your typical drug references and everything like that. There's no nudity or anything, so I mean, it's actually something, you know, pretty much people of all ages could watch, really. Wasn't a whole lot of foul language from what I remember, but it's definitely in there. But I mean, I would say teenager above could watch, and shouldn't be any issue. I know it was based off of I think it was either a short film or a film or something that was called Z-Rex. Was the only other thing that this director had done. I do believe it's written and directed by the same person. I believe was that Milko Davis and Thomas Markwick. Terrible names. So all you have on here are some trailers. There's no trailers to start yet. You have to go to the menu. There's no scene selection. I actually watched this over a couple different nights because I fell asleep, and you just have to fast forward all the way to a scene. So yeah, they get these green eyes going on and stuff. So like I say, this is from let's see, it says 2018, but I think it was 2017 on IMDb. And 82 minutes. The sound was kind of bad. I had to turn it up quite a bit when they were talking, and then turn it back down. It was kind of one of those up-down movies. But yeah, like I say, overall, if you guys are into these kind of movies whatsoever, it's definitely worth picking up. I mean, these releases come out for a pretty good price, so I mean, they're always like $10 or less, you know, or find them used or whatever. Yeah, so definitely, I would place this one so far probably right underneath Bone Jangles as far as the ones I've reviewed so far. I mean, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the House of Salem was actually a better film than this, but this was, I think, more entertaining and just more nonstop, you know, over the top kind of stuff going on. So you can kind of see right here is the Duke character. It's glaring pretty bad, but yeah. So that's my review of Jurassic Dead, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.